What's up, everybody? We're live. Joey Yates, we're live. Welcome back to the Segment Podcast, everyone. Have we got a lot of great guests for you, and we are going to be kicking off this amazing event. Ride and Shine is coming out this Saturday to Sky Park. A lot of great people are going to be there. Hope to see you guys there as well. And I got some of the guests of folks that will be at Ride and Shine as well backstage. And I can't wait to bring it on. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about mental health and the bike and why it's so important to talk about mental health and what people are doing for their mental health. So it's just great to talk about it to kick this whole thing off. So Joey, let me start with you. Joey's like,
We talked about this on our last ride a little bit.
yeah. Tell him what we talked about.
Yeah, I was telling people, or I was telling you that I enjoy climbing, and people think that's strange, but I really do like the climb. It's part of the mountain bike experience. And while I'm climbing, I don't like to think about the climb. I like to look at the scenery and everything, but if you think about the climb, it's basically going to suck. But I
Yes.
think about, my daily problems or my anxiety or whatever is taking place that day. That's where all my problems are solved, and that's where I clear my head, and then we get to the top and we get to drop in, and then it's my time.
Yes. No,
Yeah,
that's great.
that's my little riding journey.
I love that we talked about that. It's so healthy that we can talk about that stuff when we're on the trails. And it made total sense when you're saying the climb, like we really just get in the zone
Yeah,
and you're like you said, you're solving problems that maybe your body didn't have the bandwidth to do before because everything's so busy and there's so many screens and there's so many things going on and I got to take this call. But when you're on the bike and you're out there in nature and you're with a friend, a lot of times everything slows down. You hear the cadence of your breath, you're solving problems, like you said, Joey. It's such a great time. And then on the downhill, what we talked about was you really don't have enough time to think about other things either. It almost is a sense of meditation,
yeah,
where
yeah.
you're just tuned into a specific frequency and you're just holding on.
You're just trying to survive, but with a giant smile on your face.
Exactly. Yes. Did you
Yeah, and,
see that?
I've always suffered from anxiety, and I've had. I know Isaiah talked about it not too long ago. I've always felt like that, and when I climb, my heart's beating so bad. I figured, oh, I would have died then, not when I'm at home sitting on the couch or driving in the car. So it kind of calms that nerve too.
Yeah, that's a great point. I actually use that something similar to that. Sometimes I'll get anxiety attacks too. And sometimes I'm in a car and I'm stuck on a freeway and I've got nowhere to go. I don't want to pull over because it's kind of, it'd be embarrassing, right? That shows that I need help and I'm in trouble. But then I realized, wait a minute, I just climbed like 2,000 feet, went 20 miles. My heart rate was way to the max and I was having a blast.
Yeah,
I
that's right.
can now handle sitting in this car and all of a sudden things kind of melt away, which is very, very cool. Uh,
Exactly.
Dude, thanks for sharing that, Joey. I really love it.
And
What
back
is
to
it?
that thought too. I
Yeah.
know. Let's ask Adam when we bring him on tonight. He explained, or one time he told me that how he asked me how long an average thought last in your head. Like if you think of anxiety and you're going to die in your car and you get stressed out, how quickly can you change that and move on to something else? Like you said, back to the trail and you realize that you're not going to die, and then boom, that thought's gone and you're moving on. So
Yes.
Adam can explain that for us.
Yeah, we'll have to ask him when he comes on. So we have Adam Mock and a few others backstage to share something similar that Joey just shared with us to help kick this off. And before we do, let's just say what's up to the chat real quick because we always appreciate everybody being here. Whole Shot Award goes out tonight to MTB Nick 316. He says, "Let's get this party started." Congratulations, my brother. Always good to see you on here. And oh, yes, look at this. Trail Monster is also on. What's up, Neil? Good to see you out there as
Oh,
well.
someone's in Palm Springs.
He's normally ripping
All over the place.
the North Star. He's at Palm Springs right now, taking
Yes.
it easy. What's up, Trail Pimp? Good to see you,
I
my
mean, we're
brother.
gonna see him on Saturday.
Are you Trail Pimp? Are you making it on Saturday? Let us know. Let us know.
He's close.
Yeah, I'd love to see you and get laps. I think he was thinking about it. And we have the folks from Bentonville, Arkansas. Scott Ripple says, "What's up?" Always good to see the Arkansas out here.
Oh, that's who I
There.
want to meet.
Yes. And I heard you got a jersey from Arkansas, which is pretty
Good.
dope,
Yes.
which is very cool. Speaking of places that are out in the middle, far out there, This is a terrible transition. We had friends that were really out there today, and one of our friends, shout out to Josh, he went down on a trail going Mach 9 in the backwoods of the forest, and we think possibly separated the shoulder. He's actually watching this from the ER right now, probably on happy juice, happy meds. So what's up, Josh? Hope you're doing okay right now. Hope the ER doctor is taking good care of you. Hi, everybody in the ER. Hi. Hopefully this is the only time you see us. But shout out to Josh. Hope you're doing okay. They had to hike. How many miles out was it? Did they have to hike after his
He just
crash?
said 8 miles.
8 miles.
Yeah.
8 miles, and they'd already covered 2,000
Yeah,
feet.
like 6 hours or something to hike out of there, I think is what he said.
Yeah, 6 hours to hike out 8 miles, and total elevation change, I think they had to hike over 3,000 feet to get out of there, which was crazy, crazy, crazy. But we're thinking about you, my brother. We're thinking about you. Speaking of people that are far away but are coming close, is the next guests that we're going to get on the show. And I want to get them on first, Joey, because they've got an early flight and it's late out there. They're out of Miami, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Johnny, you,
I'd have to wake
and Mountain Bike TNA. Hey guys.
I know.
What time is it out there? Hi, Lauren. Hey, Johnny.
Hey, everybody in Chatville, Podcastville. I feel like I made more podcasts lately than my own.
You've been on a podcast tour. You were on Women's MTV Network just recently. Now on the segment. Had yours last night with B&E.
I'm all talked out. Take it away.
Podcast world. Ooh, no. That's making me nervous. Don't do that.
We're really excited. You guys are making it out to Ride and Shine. You guys got the ticket. What time is your flight tomorrow?
10
a.m. Landing in LAX at 12:30.
I
think.
Yeah, baby. That's going to be so
It's
fun.
only a 2.5 hour flight. It's amazing.
Nice.
That's fast. How does that work? Wow.
You got to subtract something.
Subtract a couple of times.
Carry the zero.
Right. Oh, Johnny and Lauren, thank you for being on the show. I really felt that this was a great one. One, you're coming all the way out here to see us. We can't wait to meet you guys in person. But
I am
Same.
dying.
We're so excited.
it's going to be so fun. Our mountain bike community has spread so far, and I love the fact that we have this impact. You guys are a great example of that. And now this message of Ride and Shine, it's cool to see how far out it's traveled and all the people that are coming into it. When it comes to mental health, Johnny and Lauren, what are some of the things that you guys do for your own mental health to keep it healthy?
Oh, do you want me to go first?
I think you want to go first.
That's why I got a podcast. Again, we all mountain bike for our mental health. I think we do it because you zone out, and it's trees, the dirt, the feature. You zone out, but to add on to that, because we're all probably going to say that is I have been recently diagnosed with ADHD, and I do this because it's like a frontal lobe thing. And I said this, I was talking about this last night, is that my mind has like a million things going on at once. And I didn't realize this. I just thought, I always thought I had something, because I was always anxious and there's so much going on and I can't get it all out at once. And it's interesting when it's brought to the forefront, when someone actually tells you that this is your issue, that you can see it now. It's right there and you can recognize your problem. So it's my therapy for myself is to stop when I start feeling anxious or I start feeling overwhelmed or I have a million things. I see that right there. And I go, oh, it's the ADHD. That's what's causing me to do that. And it's really neat. I didn't think I was going to be in therapy. And I didn't think and what I love about Ride and Shine is it's shining a light, as Adam would say, on mental health and not being ashamed of it and stuff. And I'm getting way too serious for me.
No, it's good.
But it really is a neat thing. Once you shine a light on it, it's okay, folks.
Yes.
It's okay to let people know. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to just go, hey, I got a little something going on up here.
Yeah.
Like if I had a goiter, it's like, it's okay. I got a goiter. You shouldn't be ashamed of your goiter. I don't know if that works. But
That works.
Weird analogy, but
that's
that's all we got. I guess we'll take it.
We followed the transition to goiter.
ADHD goiter.
But you're right. It's so interesting how before you go in, it's so nerve-wracking. Like, what are people going to think? I don't want people to see me. Do I really need counseling? And then once you go in, it's really not a big deal.
No, I actually love it.
I love that you guys are talking about it. I mean, to me, that's so cool. Just that it's so open and just a conversation. I mean, that's like the first start to just being a healthier society and community in general, I think.
Yes, so true. I mean, those professionals, the counselors, they have all that education as to help us organize and bring out those thoughts and help us figure out what's happening, just like a trainer would at the gym, like, hey, my biceps aren't what I want them to be. Like, oh, do this, this, and that. Oh, thanks for the information. Same with the brain. It's like, hey.
Do I get to answer his question?
Yes.
Answer.
Heck yeah.
I've been quiet for a few seconds.
That's my time to jump in. It's like just a blip of a second.
Get it, Lauren.
So I was going to say, two things that I kind of lean on all the time, and it's gratitude is the first one. I feel like just remembering all the things that are good, and like, you can easily, it's so easy to start to go to the negative and to the bad and like what, crap happened earlier in the day or life or whatever, but just there's so many things everywhere to just be grateful for. And you can, I mean, it's something like you hear people say this, I feel like all the time, but like once you actually start doing it and practice just being grateful and gratitude, you like start to feel what it does for you, I think. And I think it just kind of changes your entire mindset. And then the other one, I was just going to say and it drives my mom nuts, but my sister and I always have this, it is what it is kind of mantra. And it's just, it's not to be dismissive. And that's why I think my mom hates it, but it's acceptance is the thing. It's just understand and embrace, just accept the things that are what they are. I mean, you do the best you can with what you got, but sometimes you just can't control everything. So,
right. I love that. A lot of times, you can't control it. It happened. It is what it is. And I think
freeing in a way.
Right. You're kind of putting a spotlight on that. Like, okay, there it is. It is what it is. Scott's saying, is vulnerability a common roadblock for most people? Most people hesitant to open up. I would say so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was, it's funny because I was talking to my therapist yesterday and I was telling her about this ride that is coming, Ride and Shine. And we're always talking, and I was kind of bragging about going out, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're doing something great, and this is going to be good." But what my therapist and I are always talking about is I'm not worried about being judged, but there's this thing in me about acceptance, and we're working on that. And I guess with my problem with acceptance is now that I've joined into this creator little realm. It's interesting. I was accepted on TV for a while, and now that I've come into this group, but people like you and Joey and Adam and Mia and just everybody that I've interviewed and stuff. And Lauren said this the other night, is like, this community has been my therapy.
Yeah.
It's been this acceptance into this community. And this is great. Like, it's so weird. It's weird. Like, my DMs are constantly full. I don't know about you guys. If like people talking, like, I thought I was just going to podcast with somebody and then move on to the next podcast. I didn't know I was going to build relationships with these people.
Yes.
And it's so amazing that I've been brought into this world, to this little community of mountain bike creators. And it's the acceptance of that has been a real big therapy for me.
You guys have done a lot for him, which does in turn a lot for me. Thank you. This community, I mean, like, you got the communities, I would say it all the time, but you guys have been just amazing. It's the coolest thing to me that like this exists. And it's just this like these people are really this nice. I don't get it.
Yeah,
We're from Miami. People are like, we don't get it. We're not like that.
I gotta be honest. When Mark started, I was on Mark's podcast. He was on mine, and then he brought me on to you guys doing it, and then you brought all these other people on for me and to interview. I never finished a sentence. Their train just derailed again. But it's so weird, but it was so great. Like, you guys were like this glue that started bringing people into my life. And it really was. It was just like, I looked forward to doing these things. Like Lauren said, this is kind of my therapy. Is like, people ride bike. I love riding bike, and that's my therapy. But being a part of this community, this creator community, has been a big therapy. Like, I get giddy. I'm like, I got a podcast tonight, or I'm going to be on a podcast tonight, or something like that. And it brings me so much joy to be part of this. And for you guys in SoCal, I got to be honest, is really incredible. I mean, Isaiah, who's going to be on tonight, he gave me a call last night, just to find out what's going on with you this weekend.
Yeah, Isaiah always checks in on us. It's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah,
you guys
are awesome.
I feel dizzy. I haven't been this serious in I don't know how long.
That's great, Johnny. I love the fact that you guys are talking about the community and are a part of this community. And this community reaches out global, right? We're all part of this mountain biking community, and it's very similar. Everyone's accepting, everyone's open. We're all looking out for each other, which is great. And then Lauren, I had a question for you when it comes to like a newer mountain biker or somebody coming into this from the outside looking in on this community. How great, I know you've already touched on it, but how great has the community been for you to see?
Well, I kind of feel, I said to Johnny, I kind of feel like I'm an honorary mountain biker. If I can like put that title on myself. But I don't mountain bike. I tried it a couple times. I've been slowly getting a little bit more interested in maybe, especially with the Women's Mountain Biking Network on there. Maybe like that's my, so maybe I just had a really bad teacher.
We had to get a close up of Johnny's face there.
Yeah, it does.
No, but what was the question?
The mountain bike community's positive impact on you, kind of being from an outside coming in.
Yeah, no, I mean, just the same thing. Like, just, I mean, he's my person, and just seeing like what it's done for me is what it's done for him. Just seeing him be so happy and fulfilled, and just finding like his zen and his people, and like by proxy, that's amazing for me because I love to see that, and it puts him in a better mood too. So like, yay.
That's awesome.
But I mean, it's been, yeah. Just
remember what I was going to say is the community. Mark, I derailed. I was talking about this kid up here. Wow, I was on his, he was on mine, back and forth. And next thing I know, I'm getting texts from him. I'm getting phone calls from him. I'm like, again, I thought just doing this thing. Thanks for being on my podcast. And then all of a sudden there was these bonds and these relationships, and some of my friends make fun of me because they're like, "Oh, you're friends." I don't have to be right here,
right,
face to face with you to build these relationships. And I think
building
relationships like this has been great therapy for me.
That's awesome.
It's just, you guys are so beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Trail
Monster popping in with a $5 donation to the show. He says, I've met so many new friends through the MTB community and even the creator community. Otherwise, I would have never normally met. That's awesome. Yeah, it's very cool. This whole thing is really cool. 2023, we can make friends this way,
Yes.
and get to know each other, build relationships. Awesome.
And look out, you two.
We're gonna get a big squeeze.
What's happening?
Big Bear's gonna put his paws around you. Yeah, you're gonna get yourself a big one.
I can't wait.
You gotta catch us first.
Yeah, I'm just gonna clap
running around like, no.
Well, Johnny and Lauren, thank you for jumping on and sharing your
Yes,
insights around mental health and the biking and the mountain biking community. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow.
We're so excited. We can't wait.
Yes, it's going to be so good. If you guys want, hang out for the after show. If you have to go, no problem. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cold drinks. First round's on me.
No,
you
on
guys see
me.
tomorrow.
All right, guys, take care. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you guys.
Can't wait to see you, Ride and Shine.
Okay, kick me off. Bring someone else on.
Okay, here we go. That was awesome, man. Johnny and Lauren are amazing. I can't wait to see them tomorrow. It's going to be great.
I gotta make sure I charge his bike.
Yes, exactly. I was so happy. You were so on it for his decoy this weekend. That was very, very cool.
Well, I saw that he hadn't been on the bike for a while due to was it a pinky, a finger, one of the fingers?
Break finger, a break finger.
Okay, that's right.
Yes.
Big finger. So yeah, help him out, and yeah, it's gonna change his world.
That was awesome. Every time you hit me up, I'd have to hit the guys at YT. Extra large decoy, please. This one's from Mr. Yates. They're like, oh, you should have told us it was Joey Yates' request. I thought it was yours again, Mark. Yeah, the red phone. Yeah. Don't call Taylor. Just all I had to drop was Joey Yates. And then I had the outsider in my back pocket too. So I didn't have to call that card, but I was ready to go if we needed to. But we got him a bike. That thing's beautiful. Can't wait to see him ride it.
Nice looking bike. Yeah, a little stormtrooper there.
Yes. Next guest that we're going to have on the show tonight, she's going to have to jump off and head out to the airport to pick up another creator who's flying all the way in from the East Coast, hopefully having drinks right now on the airlines. Let's bring on Miss Mia from Women's MTV Network.
What up, crew?
What's up, Mia? Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Dude, are you stoked for this Ride and Shine event this weekend?
Oh my God. I don't think I'm going to sleep like tonight or tomorrow night. I think it's just like...
It's going to be so fun. It's going to be so fun. You are on print for being one of the speakers on the Ride and Shine on the Shine part. And I don't want to steal any thunder by you sharing, too many details, but can you kind of give us a little high-level overview of what you might be sharing for people listening in who may really relate to your story?
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about some personal experiences that happened with me a few years back that has affected me to this point in my life. It made me, shaped me who I am. And I'm very proud of that, even though it was difficult times. But we're also going to be sharing, we're literally going to be sharing a hopeful story, an encouraging story. And as sad as it is, it has a great ending. And that's what I want to convey to people, that it's going to be hopeful and that you can get that even if you're going through a hard time.
Ooh, baby, that's what we call a hook. That was a beautiful hook, Miss Mia, in the entertainment industry. Holy cow. Print that one. We can cut. We're a wrap.
I'm not even in the entertainment industry, so I appreciate you saying
I'm not either, but it sounded good coming out of my mouth. I'm really excited about that, and I cannot wait for you to be on stage sharing this. And I know it's going to impact folks and help people out when they hear this story. So it's going to be amazing. Mia, for you in your personal life, when it comes to mental health, what are some of the things that you do to kind of demystify the stigma around it?
I try and talk to people about it every time I go to therapy or I had a good session, because I do see a therapist. I have for a few years now. And I just tell people about it. Oh, the other day I was talking to my therapist about this really cool thing that she had me do. Or if someone's struggling, which happened recently with a friend of mine last week, she was having a really hard time. And I was like, my therapist often gives me this type of advice.
Oh,
and I even said, it works for me, may not work for you, but here's her number. Call her. You can speak to her. And I just try and make it so that it's not a big deal, because it isn't, right? It's not a big deal. It should be exactly what Adam was saying last week, which was, hey, I went to the gym, saw my therapist. Like you said, let's go boxing. Like, you're working a muscle just as much as you're working a muscle in the gym. Your brain's a muscle in the same way.
Right. Probably like the most important muscle, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That thing, everything starts there. Your thoughts become your words become your actions become what you are.
100%. And mental health comes in so many different aspects. For me, a lot of it has been, I found out recently I needed to also see a licensed, like a professional dietitian, which is, I lost my ways during law school. Things were really stressed. stressful. I gained a bunch of weight, and I didn't realize I had an issue with that too until recently, my therapist. So I even said that. I said that to someone yesterday. It's like, oh, have you, a dietitian really helps me too. Have you guys thought about thinking of, so I just always like saying that to people.
That is awesome. Speaking of people saying things to people, you did get a shout out here from a very high up exec. I love this.
Ooh, high up exec.
Susie Murphy from San Diego Mountain Bike Association. She goes, yeah, Mia, big hugs for you tomorrow. And they are going to be up there. SDMBA Simba is going to be at Ride and Shine. That is big. So thank you, Susie, for your support. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet her. And I want to organize a time to go down there and ride, spend the weekend in San Diego.
Ooh, what a great place to go. San Diego's not a bad spot. And Susie Murphy knows everybody. Now, as far as mental health and the bike, what are some of the things that you've gleaned or benefited from mentally from riding bikes?
I mean, for me, it's similar to what a lot of people say, where it just helps clear your head, right? And for me, when I'm on the bike, I'm not thinking about anything else. It's kind of like what Joey was saying. If you're climbing, he was saying this earlier, I think offline, when he hates to climb and he doesn't think about it. So to him, he's clearing his head. I'm assuming, right, Joey? You're clearing your head. You're not worried about that. You're just got to do what you got to do to get to the top of the mountain. So for me, it's very similar. Like, I just try and shut everything off and I listen to nature. I don't ever have headphones on. I just want to hear it, mainly because I'm super scared of snakes. I need to hear rattlesnakes, but also because I want to hear nature and I want to hear my bike. I want to hear how I'm pedaling, how I'm breathing. I want to be in tune with myself. And that for me is how I relax on the bike. So it works every time.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And what is something that you would say to somebody who is thinking about jumping on a bike, but just hasn't done it yet? Let's just take somebody who, let's take a female who might be intimidated about jumping onto a bike where it's male dominated. What would you tell that person to get them, to encourage them to jump on a bike?
To do it regardless. And obviously, number one would be connect with other female riders that will support you. But also realize that even though it's male dominated, it's not that intimidating when you're riding with people who want you there. And that's the case a lot of the times. It's like I said the other week, right? Like, if you're invited, you're wanted. And I'm not gonna lie, I was intimidated to ride with you, Mark, back in February.
Really?
Like, shit, he's a shredder, man. Am I gonna like keep up with this dude? Like, what? But I mean, everyone goes through it, right? So connect with other women, find DM me or Becca. We're always connecting women with groups. I actually just connected someone up in Oregon yesterday. Find your clan, find your crew, find your people, but also, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
I love it. MTB TNA, she's saying, I feel specifically targeted by that question.
Is she not coming out or
encouraging? What? No, she is, but she might be jumping on a bike. She may feel a little intimidated, but she might be wanting to jump on a bike.
Lauren.
Yes, that's Johnny's Lauren. She feels targeted. Lauren, I always got your back. I'm trying.
Don't listen to what Johnny says, Lauren. You're good.
TNA's trails and what?
trails and associations.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Yeah. I know
Mark,
you're thinking.
So quick-witted. So quick-witted.
Joey was thinking treats and assets. But Mia, thank you so much. Before you jump off, let people know where they can get more of you in the Women's MTB Network.
Yeah, just follow us on Instagram, womensmtbnetwork.com. And obviously we have our website, which is I said that backwards. The website is womensmtbnetwork.com. And the Instagram is just Women's MTB Network. And we are very responsive on there. We have some really cool stuff coming up. We're going to be filming a ton of content in the next few days for people. So I'm really excited about that. But Instagram is usually the main way. The website, the email's on there. So yeah, just reach out. And we're very accessible, very approachable.
Awesome. And I hear the director of Women's MTB Network is flying in for this event as well. So you guys will both be there.
Becca is on her way. I'm going to leave for the airport in a bit to pick her up. I got to cut across Los Angeles for that. So that should be fun.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Had a couple, before you run, got a couple things here coming in from the chat. Susie Murphy with Simba says, Girls Gone Riding has 8 chapters now in the Southwest. Our SD chapter alone has 1,500 plus members. Co-founder Wendy E will be there tomorrow. Holy cow.
Yeah,
That's
I spoke to
awesome.
Wendy yesterday, and I posted it on the Girls Gone Riding page, the LA chapter, like a few weeks ago. And then she said, she posted, she's like, I'm going to be at SkyPark this weekend. I was like, are you coming to the event? She was like, sure. I think she forgot. Coming.
That's
and
awesome.
A bunch of other people are coming. So it's going to be amazing to have women represented there for sure. It's going to be great.
1,500 possible women riders in that chapter. Boy, yeah. See, for the person that we were making up, Lauren, that may be a little intimidated to jump on a bike for the first time and have fun. Look at that. That's a big, big chapter. A lot of fun people to ride with.
And I did a podcast with Wendy. That's on there too. You guys could check that out. But it's the biggest girl founding group in the country, I believe. It's like the biggest one.
Dang, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We had Scott Ripple saying, being judged on your skill level is a huge anxiety when riding with new people, but most of the time you find that most people don't care about that. So true. I think
100%.
They're out there to have fun, and I think as long as you're cool and you're having fun, I think that's all that matters the most.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you've been riding. I'll just end on this. It doesn't matter if you've been riding for a month or a year. I think that you belong on the trails no matter what, and you're just having a good time. That's what really matters, is you're having a good time.
Yes, exactly.
And Scott is correct.
If you're on the pedals, be where your pedals are. You're in the right spot. I love that. I love that. We got all right, Mia. Well, thank you very much. I know you have to jam to LAX. Drive safe, and we'll see you up in the mountains for Ride and Shine.
See you all Saturday.
All right. Yoo-hoo.
Bye.
There's Mia from Women's MTB Network. That is awesome. Versus Tires is jumping on. Scott says, well, and maybe. Versus Tires says, having fun is all that matters. You're right, Scott. That is so true. That is exactly it. I love it. I love it. Let's get another guest on, but let's check in with the chat. Did we get everybody in here? I see the Octodad from New Zealand jumped on. He says that there's a group out there. Shout out to the Mud Maidens in Rotorua. What's up, Mud Maidens? Heck yeah. That's cool. That's very cool. I love all this. And we got Universe Corn. He says, hell yeah, brother. We make it through the fog. Yes, we do. We do. That fog is only here for a little while. I did see that our friend Zach was on the show here. He's in the chats, and he did a really good reminder to me when I was going through that fog. Was one of the inspirations for this video, the video that I made on the fog. But basically, he called me and just checked on me. He goes, hey, man, just remember it's a storm. It sucks right now, but it's not going to stay. And eventually that sun's going to come back out and all the things are going to grow back. And I was just like, thank you, Zach. That's Tumor Warrior who called me for that. So thank you so much. And Universe Corn, thank you for the comment on that. UO SoCal's in. It says ride, shine, and then maybe melts. Joey, what's the weather report for SkyPark this Saturday?
89, 90 degrees, which is pretty warm for up there. Sounds
like the best type of cold beer sales opportunity alive. 89 at SkyPark. Air Blair's on. It says, hey, MTB family. Look forward to riding with the East and West Coast crew at Ride and Shine. Heck yeah, it's going to be so fun. It's
going to be hot, but it's all in the shade. All the trails are in the shade, so it'll be good.
Very, very good point. Very good point. And I know Stephanie from SkyPark, who has been outstanding with working with all of us about Ride and Shine, is doing some great things to make sure that drinks are close by and that there are shade accessible for everyone. Mountain Bike Tuning is saying, yes.
She'll spray you down with the Mister bottle too if you ask her.
Yes, she's a party. She's a party. I love Stephanie. Mountain Bike Q&A is saying, yes, what's the deal with the temp? Am I bringing it from Florida?
I told you it was his fault. He was bringing that heat because he loves the heat.
Did. So Johnny. How, baby? How did you do that? That's amazing. Can you bring some
70 up there every day, and then Johnny shows up and we're in the 90s.
Well, if it gets humid, our hair gets frizzy, that's going to be even more awesome. Let's bring up the next guest to talk about Ride and Shine. Joey, I'll let you pick. There's a couple good ones backstage. So 12-ounce curls.
All day.
All day.
You pick it, Mark. You go for it.
All right, here we go. This man has been, I think this will be good because then we can end it with our last guest, who's definitely really tied in with this whole thing in the show and how it started. So let's start with the gentleman who was literally just giving high fives and fist bumps to Mickey Mouse, went on a couple rides, had a few drinks, having a good time, good laughs. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, the Outsider, MTB. What's up, Tony?
Oh, what a hell of an intro. Thank you.
The Outsider MTV's commenting. He says, "Shout out to the lady who finished my corn dog at Disneyland today. Tell us the story behind this."
I mean, I'm at Disneyland. I had an open afternoon. I've been planning out this trip to Colorado. I'm waiting for emails to come in back and forth. So I'm like, I'm not going to sit home waiting. I'm going to go to Disneyland. So I went to Disneyland and had a couple drinks and got a couple corn dogs. Didn't finish the corn dog. And as a joke, I was like, "Do you guys, you want the there was like a stick sticking out, like the end of the corn dog, and it had the rest of it on the bottom.
Is that
like the spackle?" And I was like, "You guys want this?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, I'll take that."
No. Did she eat it right in
and
front
I couldn't
of you?
believe it. I thought she was making fun of me. And she grabbed it and just started like eating it like a chicken wing, like. What?
Winner, chicken dinner. Holy cow.
I thought I was being a jerk by like trying to have some humor,
Yeah.
But she ate the gristle and everything. The corn dog was dead.
What about the stick? Did she leave the
It
stick?
made my day. Really did. And it gave me it put me in a good mood to come in here and talk to you guys.
Thank you, Tony. I'm so glad you made it, man. That's awesome. Thank you for all the support. Just for the folks who are listening in and watching, Tony has been a supporter of Ride and Shine since day one. One of the first folks to even help film a promo for us for Ride and Shine when it's just in its infancy of idea to reality. So Tony has been there. Tony, what did you think? You were one of the first ones. So last year was our first time doing Ride and Shine. What was the impact that it had on you?
I was blown away. I didn't expect as much of a. I don't know. I'm going to try to find the words to put this in. Like, I just thought it was going to be another like group ride, and then we all get together and we talk about some things that are important. But when you guys had that stage open up and you had people sharing, it opened up a whole new world to me where I was like, wow, they really went for it. And we're talking about things that matter, and we're talking about things that aren't just like, how's the weather? We're talking about things that people care about, and we're talking about things that people actually deal with. And you guys were getting to the root of issues that I think a lot of people weren't talking about. And it made me feel like I was part of something bigger than I thought I was. And I awesome. Credit you guys for doing something like that. And that's why this year, when it came around, I was like, man, if this is even close to next year, and I think it's going to be even better, this is going to be something to really like, just going to, I don't want to say blow minds, but I want to say, blend with minds or something like that, like really get people like tuned in, like really connect the audience and really connect the community.
Yeah, I love that. I see what you're saying on that, to be able to get on the same page with everybody, open up things that are kind of stuff that we're afraid to talk about or maybe don't talk about, but allow it to be normal. Give it that spotlight. That's pretty fun. That's cool.
I think that's one of the things too.
I mean,
when you open up about it, you realize almost, I'm going to say 90% of the people I ride with have anxiety or something. And it's like, oh, this is totally normal.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, once you start talking to people, once you get down to the root of things, everybody's going through something. Yes. And if they're mature enough to like meet you halfway and talk about that after you get to know them a little bit, it's really endearing. And I think that what's even more cool about this event is that we're meeting people on a face level that are already willing to open up and putting themselves out there before they even get to meet a lot of people. So it's hard to do that, right? It's hard to really put yourself out there on a level and be vulnerable without meeting the audience. So I think the people, especially the speakers and you guys that are going for that, it's not easy. I want to say, give you guys credit. It's kind of scary. I've done it on my YouTube channel here and there. And I know that feeling of like, you don't really know what the feedback's going to be. But what's great is that you go into this community and you try it once, you try it twice, you try it 3 times. And the feedback is always positive. So that's one of the reasons I love this community, is that you can have confidence that they're going to have your back with this kind of dialogue.
Yeah, so true. So true. The community is so good. San Diego Mountain Bike Association is saying, personally and as a trail advocate, I am very encouraged by these conversations. Thank you all. Yeah, Susie Murphy.
Yeah.
That's so true. It's
That's
something that I'm so glad that we have actually a space that's marked out at least once a year at SkyPark for this, so that we can shine a light on it and normalize it.
Yeah.
Try to end the stigma on it. And I really credit Adam Mock as literally the founder, the baby mastermind behind it. You know, it came from his heart, came from his head. And it's so
Adam's
good.
such a good dude.
He's
Should we just get him in here right now?
Yeah, we'll definitely bring him up. We need your time for shine real quick. And then Tony, when it comes to, like, what do you do as Tony the outsider? I look at the outsider. He's the guy that I go to when I want to learn about trails. He's the guy that comes into my inbox every week to get me stoked up on trails when I'm stuck at work doing my thing or juggling the family. But what does the outsider do for his mental health?
Oh man, well, I shared this on the last week's live stream with the Women's MTB Network, but I have a therapist. I talk to someone. I don't think that it's always something that you have. Like I said this last week, like I'll say it again. Therapy isn't something that you have to have a traumatic thing happen to you. You don't have to have a crazy childhood. You don't have to have some kind of thing that you're trying to get over. It's just helpful to talk to someone about things that are going on in your head and to get it out there and say it out loud. And sometimes when I say things out loud, I learn from myself just by saying those things that are buried in the back of my head that I didn't even know were there. So I'm learning as I talk to myself, to this person, like it's this weird world that I didn't know was there that really helps me. For me, mountain biking helps because mountain biking, the bike takes me to places I would never see before. I've seen so many beautiful places and I've been in such peaceful spots, lakes, mountains, valleys, peaks, all the things that your bike takes you to. I would never be there if not for mountain biking. And I really am appreciative to that for bringing me there. And I always try to say on my channel, like the main thing is like an appreciation station is somewhere where you stop, take it in and think about it and just give it a second to take in where you're at, because life goes by so quickly. And I really feel like if you just stop for a minute, pause and be present, it's harder than you think, because we're so with cell phones and social media and all the things these days. For me, like the mountain bike helps me put my life on pause. I'm not good at meditation because my mind is so crazy. Like I have trouble sleeping and I know my faults, but I know what mountain biking forces me to put my mind into one place. Because if I don't, I'm going to get hurt, right? Like if you're not paying attention on your mountain bike, if you're not putting your whole mind into one possible outcome, seeing your fruition come, you're going to get hurt. So it forces you to meditate, and then taking that and just going further with it with like appreciation stations. I guess it's a bit of a long-winded answer, but that's how I do it.
Speaking the truth, man. I love it. And I love how you articulated how the bike has given back to you mentally. It's helped you pause. It's helped you take in moments that you normally would have missed. It's helped got you out of screens and onto beautiful places and adventures. And you bring us along with it. So it's amazing.
Cool, man. That's great to hear. I've actually been thinking about it a lot lately. Like, I've had some injuries the last couple of years. I got, knocked out. I hit my head, broke a helmet. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm not trying to prioritize progression like I used to. I'm trying to prioritize having fun on the trail. And if the progression comes, that's part of it. Because I think for me, my mental health comes within having a good ride and not doing the craziest ride, right? So I'm going on these bike trips, and I'm starting to feel like, oh man, like there's all these bike parks I'm going to. I have a little bit of anxiety. It's like, you know what? Slow it down, dude. Like, you just have fun. If you want to ride blue trails, ride the blues. Like, just do your thing. And I think that's okay. I think there's such a send it culture in mountain biking that I think that it's okay to slow it down too, and like go at your own progression. And if you're going to send it, but like, don't force yourself to be in that culture of like, dude, for me, I'm too old for that crap. You know, like,
I love
Yeah.
we're just have fun, man.
Yes.
That video that you posted about that really changed the way I looked at mountain biking as far as sending it versus taking it in. And
Yeah. Cool,
Yeah.
man. That's great to hear. I'm trying to live by that motto right now, but it's weird. I'm like one person off the bike, and I'm one person on the bike. Because when I get on the bike, I'm still like that. Like, oh man, what are we gonna get into today? It's like, all right, slow it down, Tony. You got like the devil and the angel on each shoulder. You know.
Yes.
I just have
Do it,
Eric
Tony,
riding
yeah.
dirty on one shoulder and Mark on the other shoulder.
Do it, Joey. Don't
Yeah.
do it, Joey. Think about it. Think
Yeah.
about the kids. Think about no, Tony. I think the timing of that video was also very good because we had a really good rainy season. The trails
Yes.
changed quite a bit. A lot of us were off the bike for weeks on end, and we get back, but our brain and our body feel better than it ever has. We've had a time to take a break. We're really jonesed to get on the trails, and we've seen a lot of injury this season amongst our mountain bike community. And I feel like that is a great reminder, and your video hit perfect when it comes to having a good time. You're out there to have fun. Send it if you want to, but it's also way fun to dial it back to 80% and have a big smile again and again and again and again tomorrow.
It is. And you know what's even more fun? Riding the next day too.
Yes.
Yes. In case, like, I always think about that, like, okay, I could probably do this right now, but I'm gonna ride my bike tomorrow too. And there's like a 50-50 shot. And I used to just say go for it. And now I'm like, I'm gonna ride tomorrow.
Yes, that's so true.
I don't know. Maybe I'm a wuss these days, but hey, I look at it like I'm having as much fun as I can.
Heck yeah. As long as you got the smiles and the miles, you're doing it right. San Diego Mountain Bike Association says, for sure, live to ride another day. Go for long-term, lifelong enjoyment. That's the ticket. Totally. Susie Murphy. Yeah. Very good. Very good reminder. Scott is saying with Versus, he says, have a feeling there's a lot of Versus tires in this room. There used to be one right behind Joey, actually. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
There it is, Scott. Versus tires right there. Tony, thank you very much for sharing your insight around mental health, what you do for mental health, and how the bike has really contributed to your mental health. You're a great ambassador for our sport and for content creation. I love you, brother. Thank you so much for jumping on. And I can't wait
for having me. I love you guys.
Can't wait to get laughs with you on Saturday.
Party laugh.
You guys in a couple days.
Heck yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony the Outsider. If you guys are up at Ride and Shine, catch a lap with Tony. We'll see you all then. And we'll get the next guest up. We got
we have a question from
Are there going to so UO SoCal's asking, are there going to be any demos? My bike is in pieces. And yes, there is. Michael from Specialized reached out, Specialized San Diego, and they are going to be there with some Specialized e-bikes. So Danny, come on up and jump on one of those. Those are going to be able to demo. And if you're looking for new footwear, Etnies is going to be there as well. Etnies is going to be demoing their shoes for the day. So if you want to try Etnies on a new bike with some new shoes, you sure can. And that's going to be all fun. And of course, Scott with Versus Tires. Scott's everywhere, man. I always love it. Versus Tires will be up there if you guys are interested in Versus Tires. You all know we've rocked Versus Tires and love them, so make sure you check those out as well. And now, jumping on to one of the creators, well, the main creator. This is the seed that was planted on his heart, and he pretty much brought this to all of us. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, welcome Mr. Adam Mock.
What's up? I'm so excited to hang with you all. Like hearing everybody, like I'm sitting backstage and like my heart is just warm. What an incredible community. I love that. And I see that Susie's got to run. Susie, I just want to say I'm so grateful that you are tuned in and engaged with what we're doing this weekend and that you're going to be a part of it. Really appreciate that.
Yes, definitely. Adam, when it came to this whole idea of Ride and Shine, now we're in Ride and Shine Volume 2. We saw the impact that it had last year amongst all of us in the community. And we saw how it rippled out with the content creators on video to other areas that were way far beyond Southern California.
Yeah.
How did this whole idea land on you?
It was kind of multifaceted, man. One, it was just the strength of our community. One, knowing how we all felt more capable when we were doing things together, going on group rides, shouting each other out, being down for one another. It felt very ride and die, like the whole SoCal scene. Two, for my own story that I shared at last year's Ride and Shine, I share on my YouTube channel. I was suicidal in my early 20s. And I know what it's like to have kind of this dark specter hovering over you. And, I'm 50 now, but it doesn't ever feel like that specter is completely gone. You're just very cognizant that it's there. And I just started watching some other content creators. Lee McCormick, Lee Likes Bikes, shared very openly that he wanted to end his life in Sedona after teaching people how to ride and having stoke with them. And then I saw Kyle Warner, with a vaccine injury, just kind of share his experience, but get attacked by so many people as if he was picking a side. And he just broke down on a video, just sharing just about that anxiety and the amount of stress that he was under. And then Mark, I started talking to you, and I was just like, man, like I would love to have just a real dignified and open conversation about our mental health. Like why is there this stigma around it? Why do we have to feel so broken because we choose to see a therapist or a counselor or a coach to make ourselves better? We don't feel broken when we go to the gym to improve ourselves. Everybody cheers us on. But why, when it comes to our mind, do we feel this sense of shame with it? Yeah. And it came a time to end it. And I thought, what better way to do it than to have the ultimate group ride, like your family, your friends, like content creators, like crews, everybody come together because we love that feeling of stoke on the trails. And then after we've kind of exhausted ourselves physically on the trails, to have the mind ready to be primed to go, oh, wow, I'm actually not alone. And maybe I'll take a step to get the help that I need. And, Mark, and this too, Joe, the whole goal last year was, man, maybe through the process of this, we can just save one life. Yeah. And that would be invaluable. One person. Yes. To know that they might not want to be here today, but they are here tomorrow because of an event like this would be tremendous. Yes. And I love that that's what we were able to accomplish last year.
Yeah, that was so good. That was so crazy to see how it went from your thoughts, an idea, and literally going through run of show and Zoom call after Zoom call, getting all these organizers and getting talent and getting musicians to set the theme and getting vocals, from Ernie from Transcend MTB to really share his story, have it echo throughout the park, especially when he was talking about climbing at SkyPark under the trees.
Oh, beautiful. And man, and Mark, you got that audio because Ernie was on your podcast. This is how interconnected everything is. I definitely couldn't have pulled this off alone last year. I have no illusions about that. This takes a community and it takes connection. And I definitely haven't been able to pull that off this coming Saturday on my own. Mark, gosh, you and Mia and Stephanie and Isaiah and everybody who reached out to say, how can I help? Because the community was hitting us with, right? Like we were getting hit with DMs saying, this is needed, not just once, like this is needed regularly. And I think it was Kaz, and I love Kaz. He's a great guy. He said, not only is this needed every year, but like maybe we can do this in different communities everywhere. That's how I think how itching everybody is just to talk about things, as Tony said, more than the weather.
Yeah, totally. Things that really are in there and deep. Trent Monster saying, Kyle Warner is literally the nicest dude ever. I felt for him so bad when people were attacking him. And when he had such a serious health issue, he was sharing. Totally.
It's so unwarranted. And I think that's right. Kyle and April, they dropped so much free content to help us all out as mountain bikers, skilled riders, great people. And he's getting attacked.
Yeah.
What?
I know. He's a beautiful person, man. Beautiful person.
I agree.
Yeah. That was very cool that we had an opportunity to have a light shine amongst the community around this whole mental health. And man, kudos to you for thinking of it and having the directive to be able to pull it through. Because a lot of times we'll after a ride, we'll talk about ideas and things like that. And then we leave and we leave them there. And
well, I could not have done last year, could not have gone off without you. For those of you who don't know, if you didn't attend last year, I shared very openly. The first person I called when I had the idea was Mark. And I just said, man, I have an idea for something. And I want it at SkyPark. I want to call it Ride and Shine. I just want to talk openly about mental health. And I need your help, man. And God bless you, dude, because you were just like, let's do it, brother.
Let's
do it. I know, Joey, you were down from day one. There were so many people down from day one with this. Tony was definitely one of them. So many people we had on last year. I don't think anybody said no to attending the event unless they had another obligation. That's how down everybody was. It really took an entire community to pull that off, and it's going to take an entire community again this Saturday.
Yes, and the goal is still the same. The goal is still the same, right, Adam?
Yeah, save one life, right? Mm-hmm. Actually, the goal is twofold, I guess. The goal is let's end the stigma around our mental health, and in that process, let's save a life. It's scary, for those who don't know, I work in the personal and professional development realm, so I get a lot of DMs and calls from people who sometimes are on the precipice. They're just not doing well, and to know that they're still here, to know that you have another day with them. It's interesting. Joey earlier was talking about the idea of how long do feelings last? It's these emotionals, and they've actually been able to, this is science, they've just been able to track how long emotions last. And people will think that these things last like weeks or even months or hours upon hours. They only last 7 to 15 seconds.
God, they feel like
kind of a minefield, right? Like, yeah, on average, I get that like heartache endures and betrayal endures and such. But all that is saying is perception. It's not reality. It's greater than reality. Our feelings, a lot of people make decisions based off of how they feel, and they don't measure it against a thought. I'm reading a great book right now called Slow and Fast Thinking, where it's all about our cognitive biases. And it's really interesting because part of that cognitive bias is we believe that what we feel is truth. But those feelings last 7 to 15 seconds. We actually have to measure it against something to see if it's true and decide what to do with it. The reason the feelings endure longer is because it attaches to a thought that starts ruminating. And our brains are designed to make sense of things and to keep us safe. And our brains are still pretty primitive, right? So if you think back to the times, when we were very primitive and we would go out and we would have to hunt and forage for our foods, we would have to know if a sound was going to hurt us. So our brains are designed to think of the worst case scenario. And the neuroscience, the studies have shown that when we have gaps in information, our brains fill it in with negative scenarios. So what you think affects how you feel, and that affects your behavior. So negative scenario, you feel a negative scenario, it triggers a negative thought, and it fuels the negative feeling, and that fuels a negative behavior. But if we can talk openly and in psychologically safe spaces about our mental health and realize we're not alone, well, guess what happens to the thought? The thought goes, this is normal. I'm not broken. I'm okay. I'm doing something normal for my mental health. I feel good about it. And you start to behave better. And that's really what I want for everybody.
That's very cool.
I'm so glad I'm so glad you shared that with me, because it completely changed my life. And two, I'm glad that you're able to share that with everybody right now on the podcast, because when I get anxiety, the hair on the back of my neck goes up, I get hot. And you taught me that little trick, or shared that trick with me, or it's not even a trick. You just shared that with me. And my mind immediately goes somewhere else and tries to think about something else. And before I know it, that thought's gone. Like, and it totally works for me. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. You shared that with me maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years, and I have not had an anxiety attack since then.
Oh, I love that, Joey. I love that.
I had an anxiety attack. It's lasted 7 to 15 seconds.
And then that thought is gone.
Yeah. What's interesting? Yeah. Full transparency. Speaking of anxiety, I have had a lot of anxiety around this event this year. I actually had a chance just to have like a brunch with Tony the other day, and I was telling him, I'm excited. Emotions, people think it's singular, like you just have this one emotion. You don't. You can have a duality of emotions or plural emotions. And part of mine is I'm super excited for this weekend, but I also have a tremendous amount of anxiety about it. About a week ago, I had a minor panic attack in the middle of the night that woke me up from my sleep because it means so much to me. And we know what's at stake with something like this. It's the ability to help somebody take a step forward towards their mental health, towards their well-being. And that means everything. So I don't treat this with any kind of triviality whatsoever. So I just want to share with everybody, and I'm a professional development coach, and even coaches have coaches, therapists have therapists, counselors have counselors. I have to work myself through that narrative of what is my anxiety really about. And Tony was really great at that. He actually asked me that very point blank. He asked me, what is your anxiety about? And I was able to start to unpack that with him.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
That's so good. Those conversations are awesome. And that's exactly where we want to be able to get people to, if they're not there already. One of the great folks that was part of was there at Ride and Shine last year. Talk about no pressure at all. Was one of our friends who's also a ginormous celebrity in the action sports world. He's a legend out there. Steve Caballero was there, and he was so great because he got right in the mix and was like playing music with the band and everything.
Oh my gosh.
But wouldn't it be cool to hear what Steve Caballero thought of the Ride and Shine last year? And maybe for somebody like him who's in a band, who does art, who also is a legend on skateboards, how does he keep his mental health healthy? Wouldn't it be cool to hear what that would sound like?
Yeah, hell yeah. Who wouldn't want to hear that?
Right?
Do you have Cav hidden backstage? Because that would be super dope.
We do have Steve Caballero backstage. Let's bring him out here for all of you guys to say what's up to. Yo, Cav.
Woo! What's up, Cav?
What's up, Adam? What's up, Joey? What's up, Mark?
Good to see you, brother.
So cool.
Thank you for
you guys. And it was actually awesome being backstage and listening to Adam speak because he speaks truth. I was just shaking my head yes to everything that he was saying. I agree with his philosophy. I actually did an interview today with a gentleman that focuses on mental health and the way the brain works. And he wanted to know how my brain worked and how I was able to overcome fear. And because of the things that we do, now that we've included mountain bike in our regimen, I mean, it's a dangerous sport, man, you know, and we crash all the time. But what is it that keeps us coming back? Because we know the consequences of it, you know. And so I obviously felt that immensely years ago with motocross when I broke my femur and had to come back. And I did, and I broke my ankle 10 months later. So, you know, it's just kind of one of those things. I was brought up that way in skating. I've been getting hurt my whole life, but, you know, in my life, pain has just been temporary, you know. I know in a lot of other people's lives, it hasn't been. It's been pain their whole life. So I can't speak for them, and I don't understand what they go through, but I understand what I go through and what works for me. So I can only share what works for me. I don't know what works for someone else. Everyone's different.
Yeah, let's talk about that, Cav. I mean, what works for you may not work for everybody, but there sure is going to be a percentage of folks that will relate to what you do for your mental health. So what do you do when, you know, you have an injury, you're an athlete and you can't get back out there? How do you keep that fog away? And what do you do to keep your mental health healthy?
Well, obviously PMA, positive mental attitude, has always helped me get through any kind of tragedy or, you know, kind of falling back into it. Like you want a certain goal, but something's restraining you from moving forward. You know, everybody deals with anxiety in their own way. And I've dealt with anxiety as a child. To be honest with you, like I was a very, very shy little boy.
You were?
Oh yeah.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were always in the public eye.
Right.
Not before skateboarding though.
Okay.
Not before skateboarding. I was a very shy young boy that was very afraid of a lot of things. And being around people and doing things around people, especially like in school, like you had to like do like a speech or something in front of your whole class. And
yeah,
I remember the very first time I did, my lip was twitching like,
oh man.
When I knew, I was like, what is that twitch? Oh, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
You know, but over the years, from becoming a very shy boy, didn't want to speak very much, let my actions speak for myself. You know, I've learned to be able to speak, and I've gotten to a place where people respect me for who I am. So I'm able to have a voice in something that people may listen to and may not always agree with, but there are some people that are very intrigued on how I think and what I do. And they, you know, there's a lot of young kids and older kids that have, been inspired by what I've done, and they see that and they want to live that same life. So they have the same kind of goals. But the one thing I've learned is, if you're nervous or afraid, the best way to overcome that is to face it. Because the more and more that you shy away from it, there's no healing process, or there's no teaching yourself that you can overcome something. And so I feel that as human beings, we all kind of are in our own little shell. And sometimes it's hard to break out of that because we're so worried about what people think of us, and I think that's because of the need of acceptance. Everybody wants to be accepted. Everyone wants to be loved. Nobody wants to be judged or criticized or put down. So that puts a lot of pressure on a human being. And when you get to the point where you really don't care what people think, you're able to surpass that fear and that anxiety,
Interesting.
But it's definitely, it's definitely the need for acceptance. That's what we're trying to surpass and try to obtain. And it's hard when you're shy.
Yeah. Stan, starting as a shy kid. Adam, you were going to add to something there?
I just think it's so dope. Like, Cab, this is not hyperbole. You're a legend to so many of us. Like you're on the Mount Rushmore of for many of us. And I think it's so interesting when you're sharing that this kid with the quivering lip who has to speak in front of class last year without missing a beat for the first Ride and Shine. No one really understood what it could be about. You were down. You were down like for the cause. And I love that you're sharing so openly, honestly about that, because people need to understand that even legends, like mental health challenges, it just doesn't discriminate from us. And you bring up such a key point. We talk about this quivering lip. What people don't understand is half the time that they wrestle with these mental health challenges is because they can't like put a framework around it. They can't like label it. And our emotions display themselves through three different channels. And one is physical sensations, the quivering lip, which tells you you're scared, or the clenching jaw, which tells you you're timid or you might want to fight, or the clenched fist. And the others are thoughts, because we can't focus on everything at once. So our emotions prioritize our thoughts. We focus on what's emotionally relevant for us. And the last is our impulses. And that's where we get this term acting out. And a lot of people think it's bad because we hear that with kids, like, they want to act out or throw a tantrum. But you act out when you want to hug somebody, when you want to shower them with love and adoration. And for you to point out this idea as a kid, your lip is quivering, tells people that even you as a kid had this physical impulse, this physical sensation of being scared. And you were able to push through fear, which I think is great. Eleanor Roosevelt talked about conquering fear, and you conquer fear by doing the thing you think you can't do. And then you know that you can take the next thing that comes along. And Cab, your life, your legacy has fully displayed that. And it's been an inspiration to all of us. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And and I'll let you know that I didn't have to be prescribed drugs to get over that, which I feel like in modern day medicine, that's an easy fix for a doctor to just like, oh, you just need to take this or take that. But I feel like we are strong enough as human beings to surpass this anxiety and fear that we put on ourselves. I don't believe that we're born with that. I believe that we learn it somewhere. It's based on how we grew up, how we were treated, the people around us. You need that positive, supportive unit around you to let you know that everything's going to be okay. There's people that get overly too confident, so you can go the complete opposite way.
Yeah,
that's hubris. That's the Icarus effect. Hubris.
Yes. Close to the sun.
Sometimes you need that. I feel like you need that, especially for like a singer. I mean, to get up in front of people and sing, that takes a lot of courage. Yeah. For me to get up in class and to do a speech in front of these kids, I don't even know. And if I don't know if my speech is going to be good, it takes a lot of courage, you know, for me to go to the MTV Music Awards in Texas and go to a karaoke bar and try to sing a duet with Tony Hawk on karaoke, a Prince Doves Cry without being drunk.
Cow.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been a Devo song.
And putting myself out there vulnerable to people to laugh at me or what, and do it and succeed through it and be like, wow, I just put myself in a position that I could be very nervous and be afraid, but I just went and did it. And I did. I'm like, wow, I'm capable of so many things that I didn't even have a clue. But, you know, that I just want to add one last thing. It's like, that's why alcohol is so popular. And it's such a party get-together environment, because it helps you ease into that courage and not be afraid of what people think, because that something in that brain, your brain turns off when you get intoxicated, and man, you'll say whatever you want. And it could be a bad thing or it could be a good thing, but at least people will come out of their shell and be them real selves. So if you want someone to be real, if you want to know what a person's really like, get them drunk and you'll know what they're really like.
That's a good old thing.
Liquid courage and the filter.
Me a beer.
Yeah, next time instead of Prince, you should go for the low-hanging fruit and like karaoke cake or something. Like, you know, but I will say,
on a prayer.
Yeah, you're reminding me, Cab, of something I posted recently, which I just posted something that said you're not as fragile as you feel.
Right.
And I think that's the truth. We may feel fragile, but we can be a coward behind the shield and still move forward in a lot of ways. And we really surprise ourselves when we do that.
Yeah, when I was backstage, I was listening to what you said about acting on our feelings.
Yeah.
I am so for that thought of like, our feelings lie to us all the time. And you don't base your life on feelings. At least I don't. I come from a Christian background, and it says the heart's deceitful. You know, you should always base your choices on truth, not on how you feel. Yeah. And you know, because feelings change, but truth never changes. Mm-hmm. You know, truth and wisdom never change. So you may feel one way one minute, and then the next minute you might feel a different way. It doesn't mean, you know, it's right or wrong. It's just that feelings change. So you got to be careful of how you react while you're feeling a certain way, because it might not be true. And you might say things like, you know, I have feelings myself. I get angry, and I'll say things when I'm angry, and later on I'll feel bad about what I said, because, you know, I only said that because I was in that state of mind. Mm-hmm. So I was reacting off of feeling, when the truth of the matter is I shouldn't talk like that or say things like that, because that's not the way that you should respond, you know. But I was responding based on my feelings.
Right. And it sounds like it's even out of character for you then. Your consistent character would show that's not who you are, but the feeling pops up and you're like, I just had a dip in character in that moment.
Yeah. Well, you know, I cry too. Yeah. You know, I get angry, I get nervous, you know, so I experience feelings just like anybody else, but some people express them differently. You know, some keep them in, some people express them verbally, some people express them physically. You know, it just depends on your personality and what you feel comfortable with.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. What I love about Cab, well, a lot of things I love about you, Cab, but when you're looking back at the body of work that you've done and you are doing now, it seems like you've figured out one of the keys to unlock life. You're sitting there playing on the piano, and then you're on a skateboard, then you're on moto, and then you're doing art, and you're doing all these great, amazing things, and nobody can put you in a box. Nobody could put Steve Caballero in a box that says he's just a skateboarder, he's just going to do this and that's it.
Yeah.
Your mindset around that, is it the PMA that really says, you know, like, I want to do this, I'm going to do it, or is it little bits and pieces where you get that self-belief? You do something, you go, man, I can't believe I did that. I'm gonna get stronger and grow from there.
I feel like as a human being, I'm just trying to experience my life in abundance. I'm trying to experience the full abundance of my life and what I'm capable of doing. And I love challenges. So when I set a challenge in front of me, I want to try to at least accomplish it. I have failed many times, and there's challenges I put in front of myself that I've given up, and that's because of my lack of patience, and I tell people that the definition of patience is long suffering. So a lot of people hate suffering, and so that's why they lose their patience.
Interesting, man.
Mark, it's kind of cool. You just described about Cab. I have like this milestone memory, and Cab, you're living it out. Cab is a Renaissance man by the purest definition of that. I call it the Renaissance spirit to equalize this for everybody. But I remember being in high school, and my history teacher showed us a cover of Time magazine, and back in the 80s, and on the cover was David Byrne, the lead singer of the Talking Heads at the time, and it said Rock's Renaissance Man. And he just said, does anybody know what a Renaissance man is? And none of us did. And he said, this is somebody who is equally skilled in a number of different areas of their life. You think David Byrne's just the lead singer of the Talking Heads. He's a great storyteller, and he's a great artist, and he's a great philosopher and thinker. And I remember thinking, that's what I want to be. I want to be that. And Cab, you're doing that. You're living that out. You have this Renaissance spirit. Like you said, no one's going to like put Cab in a box. You're not going to be limited by these things. But that's just the truth of it is you're known for skateboarding. As people dive in more, you're a prolific artist, and you have a very compassionate heart. And if anybody follows you on social media, they know very quickly how much your faith even means to you. So that means that you can have a conversation with Steve Caballero and dig deep on a number of different topics simply because he has been deep on a number of different topics.
So true. After Ride and Shine last year, I got a really nice text from Cab when I'm driving down the mountain, and it was, like, thank you for letting me be a part of this. Was great. And then he turns out that he's writing a book. He's like, there's some things I probably want to add to my book. And I'm like, oh my God, Caballero's also doing a book. I mean, what can the man not do? And I think that's why, Cab, a lot of people are looking at your mindset, because they're trying to glean the keys to unlock a lot of these things that we're capable of.
Yeah, I just want to encourage and inspire people to be more than they think that they can be.
I love that.
I think a lot of people kind of just they either put themselves in a box, or the people around them put them in a box and tell them, hey, this is all you are, this is all you'll ever be, and I feel like a lot of females have been put in that box for years, and you're seeing them shine very well nowadays, especially, and it's great to see, because skateboarding isn't prejudice. It accepts all people in our industry, and from poor to rich to middle class to female to male, you name it. When you see another skateboarder, there's already just a common bond there, and as you could see, like in competition, we're always just all rooting for each other as well.
I love that. Yeah.
And so I feel that helps bring this community together, and it's helped it stay creative, and it's helped it grow, and I feel the same way with mountain biking. I feel like there's a great community there as well. People are stoked on each other and stoked on the progression. And, I've been riding with you and Joey for a couple of years now, and it's been great to see your passion for it and how you guys progressed. I don't think I haven't noticed that, Mark. The big time since I first started riding with you guys.
So cool.
Thank you, Cam.
So you guys got some courage under you, and courage comes from practice, and it's not something that we're born with. We have to learn it. We have to learn what we're capable of, so I don't believe, like, I'll argue it to the day I die, I don't believe in natural talent at all. I believe everybody that's good at anything works their hardest at what they do, whether it's physically or mentally. In skateboarding, what I've learned is 90% mental and 10% physical. That means that it doesn't matter how good I am at what I do. If my mind isn't there, I'm not going to do it.
That's gold. That's gold. Hey, Mark, can we keep Cab on and bring Tony back? I know he wants to jump in his conversation, and it'd be so dope to have the outsider and Cab
two pro
chiming in on this. I love that.
Here we go.
Yeah, Tony.
Oh,
what's up, Cab? Hey, I'm just backstage listening to you guys, and there's so much stuff that Cab is talking about that I relate to, and I think it has to do with not only are we like-minded, but we come from such a deep background from skateboarding and the lessons that's taught me and him. And like when I first met Cab, I had never met him before, and I felt like just the way I do with every skateboarder, well, Cab specifically because he's a legend, but I felt it very like-minded. Like I felt like we already knew each other or something, and a lot of that comes from all the things that I think that Steve is talking about here. I'm like, yep. I'm just like nodding my head all along. That's why I texted you and I was like, I'd love to jump back in because Steve is really relaying a lot of the things that I value in my life and a lot of the lessons that I've met from my friends in skateboarding. But I think that can come from a lot of avenues and a lot of places in life, not just skateboarding. It just so happens that we took that avenue. And I relate a lot to what Cab is talking about and what this whole event is based around. It's just very valuable to me, and I just wanted to be a part of the conversation as well. So thanks for having me back.
Heck yeah, beautiful. One of the things that I noticed too, I grew up as a skateboarder, but then also as a mountain biker, it's like you're doing it for the love of something. You're doing it for the passion of something, and when you're by yourself and you're grinding to land something or stick a trick, there's not a paycheck that's coming from that. It's something deeper than that. It's something that's just you and this thing that you love to do. And I feel like that builds character because you fail and you fail and you fail. A lot of times there's not even somebody there to show you the way. And you just keep going and you keep going. And then eventually you stick it. And then eventually you stick it again. And then you have it wired. And it's just such an amazing progression that I think builds character.
I think that goes also with what Steve was talking about, how mental everything is. Like I totally agree. It's this way that you envision your progress. And I'll just share with you a quick example. Is like, I'm one of those guys that was like making money at skateboarding. I was in with like the Warner crew. For all those of you that know, like it was like the Piss Drunks, like this squad in Huntington Beach, basically that was up and coming. And I got hurt, injured, and thrown back into a different lifestyle where I had to like figure out my way on my own. And what did that mean? I had no life skills. I had nothing. I didn't even know how to get up and get ready for a job. And basically you have to reteach yourself. But I remember thinking back and coming to the fruition of like, it's skateboarding that taught me the skills to how to focus and move on with my second life, right? Like all that persistence and all that dedication that it took for me to learn tricks and to be a skateboarder and to learn all the things I did in those years, even though those specific tasks weren't relevant, the mind state that put me there was relevant, and it put me through school, and it put me through journalism, and it put me on a path to like be able to focus mentally as much as I was physically and mentally with skateboarding. So I think that no matter what tasks you have in life, whatever talents you have, forget talent, whatever experience you have, you can move that over and challenge that and put that into a different mind state and use those experiences to a different cause too.
I love it, Tony. Like you're dropping such knowledge right now. I get the privilege, and I know you guys know this on the call, but I get the privilege of working with Olympic gold medalists, world champions, Hall of Famers, and it's that same thing, Tony. When they start moving into other things, it's like the things that made you great in one realm are the things that are going to make you great in the next realm. You just have to have this adaptability. You can't just compartmentalize it and say that was then. It was different. It's like, no, all that hustle, that tenacity, that confidence, that courage it took to move through fear is what's going to make you successful in the next endeavor you do. And Tony, you've shown that. And Cab shows that in all the realms that he's in.
Yeah. for sure. It's just it's a weird life. It's a weird life.
It is a weird life.
Yeah,
Love that.
skateboarding definitely taught me how to fail to succeed. It's not an easy thing to pick up. It's very you have to focus. There's a lot of fear involved with getting hurt, but the joy that you get from putting in so much hard work and learning techniques and just figuring it out like a puzzle.
Yeah.
After like landing a trick and rolling away after you tried it like 100 times.
Yeah.
That joy, it just shows you what you're capable of and how resilient you are as a person. And so I have adapted that lifestyle. I have adapted that whole way of thinking to everything that I set forth in front of me, a goal, any kind of challenge in front of me. And I know that everything, there's a technique to everything. And once you figure it out and there's repetition to it, becomes a part of you and you don't even have to think about it anymore. And that's just life in itself. The more you put in, the more you get out, you know, but you gotta focus, you gotta challenge yourself. You gotta put yourself in vulnerable situations that you're going to be criticized, judged, laughed at. But at the end of the day, this is you putting in the hard work, and you'll know once you've succeeded once, you know, like there's a formula to it.
Yeah.
And you're able to succeed, but it only comes through failure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, you know, I've been a loser my whole life, but at the other end of the tunnel, I've won a lot of things as well. So
Yes, well said, Cap. Totally true. God, I love that. Man, it's just crazy. I'm looking at the screen right now and I have all you guys on here and all the folks that were just on here tonight. This is probably one of the favorite podcasts that I've done with all you guys. This is so rad.
Mark, you know what's cool? I want to say something real quick because I for the person who's on the fence about coming to SkyPark this weekend, ride and shine. Maybe you're new to mountain biking. Maybe you feel like you're not connected in the community. Cab really showed us. I mean, you can go back and you can see pictures of him and Hawk when they were kids. And there's something beautiful happening where, you know, Cab had to come up with so many people, you know, in the skateboarding scene, and they're still friends. And there's something similar happening right now in mountain biking. If you're new to it, please come out to SkyPark, introduce yourselves to any one of us, say hello, say you want to get plugged in, and I can guarantee you will not be left hanging. You're not going to be alone on that. I think the beautiful byproduct of the mountain biking community is that it's community. Once you start mountain biking, it's not going to be long before you're not mountain biking alone anymore.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, it's going to be so good. Cab, go ahead, Joey.
I was going to say, if anybody coming to Ride and Shine is afraid to say hi to any of these people, come find me and I'll introduce you to them.
Yeah, we may or may not have said that you and Tony and Adam are good with pictures and autographs and everything like that. As
Autographs
is being out there on the Ride and Shine, just letting people know that they can come out and approach and say hi, and it's going to be fun. Cap, from last year's experience, what was your take on Ride and Shine last year in closing?
Well, you know, besides the riding, which is always amazing, I feel that you know, the stage that you had with the talks definitely was great, you know, to hear stories of people overcoming fear, you know, and anxiety and even depression and suicide. I mean, those are really important subjects that people just don't know how to deal with, and to be able to, you know, to push through that, it takes a lot of courage. But like I said, you know, courage isn't something that we're inherited with. We have to learn it. You know, we have to learn how courageous we are. And we all are in some form or manner. Some are more courageous than others. But I feel that's a choice. I feel that everything in life is a choice. It's not by chance. Other people's choices affect us. Our own choices affect ourselves and other people. But nothing happens by chance, man. You know, so if you want to push through something, you got to force yourself to do it. Long suffering, need a lot of patience with yourself, patience with other people, and you'll overcome. You'll overcome. Just believe in yourself, trust yourself that you're able, that you're worthy, that you're capable, and you can accomplish so many things in this life that you couldn't even not. I mean, there's things in my life that I haven't even tried to be good at that I may be good at. I don't know unless I try. You know, I'm still young at heart. But I could say that, you know, if I was to die tomorrow, I'd be satisfied of my life and what I've done, and I'm not missing out on anything. Yeah. Every day, you know, I just post every day is a gift. You know, every day I wake up, I have a choice to make good choices and better my life or make it worse, depending on who I'm around, the things that are stopping me from moving forward. Just be wise, you know, look around. How are these things affecting other people? Don't think they're not going to affect you the same way, you know, in a good manner or a negative manner. Or surround yourself with positive people, you know, and you'll be a positive person. You'll surround yourself with people that are good at things, and you'll be just as good at them, you know. It's your surroundings, you know, it's your surroundings, and you need to manage that on your own.
Love that. Iron sharpens iron. Wise words from Steve Caballero right there. I think that's a great place to end it. Unless anybody else on here wants to share one more thing before we close it out for Ride and Shine happening this Saturday, July 15th at SkyPark. And we all look forward to seeing you there. Anybody else want to add anything?
The only thing I want to add is that as Steve already knows, he's a legend. I just have a deeper respect from being a skateboarder growing up, because I went through the 90s era, the 2000s era, and the late teens of 2000s. And I know that Steve went from vert skating to street skating to street skating to vert skating. And I know Street Cab ripped and still rips. So Steve,
yes,
I love you, buddy. I'm a huge fan, man, on the street and on the ramps, dude.
Oh,
so.
I appreciate that. You know, and I'll tell you something personal right now. I'm struggling with skating.
Yeah, me too, dude. Me too. We're getting older.
I'll be 59 in November, and
you do not look it. You do not look it.
And I could say I'm struggling with skating. I feel,
okay.
And that's only because I want to be at a certain level. If I was comfortable with what I could do, I wouldn't be struggling with it. But my mind is a lot harder on myself than what people think. You know, I know what I want, and I know what I'm capable of, but the long suffering, you know, I just don't want to put the work in. And I feel like if I put the work in, I'll get to where I want to be. But, you know, with anything, there's so many facets to my life that if I spend more time on one thing, the other thing suffers.
Yeah.
So managing being a parent, you know, I come from 2 failed marriages, so I don't have to manage being a husband anymore. So that's off the grid. But, you know, trying to be the best I can as a mountain biker, motocross, the best artist I can be, the best musician, the best skateboarder. I have a lot of things I'm juggling around, you know, to being the best Christian as I can, studying the Bible and going to church. You know, I fail at that so many times because I could be better, you know, I could be a better human being.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. I have struggles just like everybody else. But, you know, I'm trying my best, you know, and there's only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah. That's all we can do, man, is try our best. We are only human.
True.
Yeah. Thank goodness, right?
Yeah.
But I want to strive. I keep striving. I want to strive because I want to prove to people that, you know, when you turn 30, it's not over. When you turn 40, it's not over. When you turn 50, it's not over. I'm going to turn 60 soon, and I'm going to let you know I'm going to be still sending it out there with you guys.
I believe it.
We're still trying to catch up to you right now.
I can't match any of you all. So.
Oh, it's such a good mindset and such good stoke. Life is so full of great things to learn and challenge yourself and to overcome and succeed and come back from. And it's just so short, but it's so full if we want it to be. I love that mindset. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an awesome podcast. We hope to see you guys this Saturday at Ride and Shine at Sky Park. And there he is right there.
That's Ollie.
Share Ollie with. We had some people that were requesting an Ollie look.
This is Oliver the Frenchie.
There he is. There he
What
is.
up, Ollie?
That's
You want a
awesome.
banana?
Look at those eyes. Look at those eyes.
You want some popcorn?
Wait, is it a requirement if you're a skateboarder to have a dog, like a dog sidekick?
I don't know. I've always loved animals, you know. This guy definitely got me through some hard times, you know, being single and, you know, and not dating anyone. He definitely kept me company and busy. So
That's sweet.
That's awesome.
you know,
Man's
he's
best
been
friend.
a great
And women's-
companion.
Yeah, I bet.
That's very cool. And for the folks that are driving up there, if you have a bit of a commute, check out Urethane. You can get it anywhere you download your music. That's Kaz band Urethane. And you have a new album that you're dropping a little bit of tracks on there. And when are you guys touring?
Well, actually, we released an album last year, and we just released a single just recently called Dog Years with 2 songs. We're working on a new album. We're going on tour on the 26th to over to Europe. But before that, we have 2 shows that we're playing, not this weekend, but next weekend on the 21st and 22nd. The 21st is at the Booze Brothers in Vista. And then the 22nd, Saturday, is in Irvine at Hangar 24 Brewery. And these are both free shows. But unfortunately, it's the exact same time that X Games is happening in Ventura. So I'm kind of torn. I wanted to go to X Games and show some support and watch some of the events. So I may try to sneak over to Ventura on Sunday.
Nice. That definitely is Cab style. And you're everywhere, man. I love it. I love it. Well, I can't ask you that question. That's not fair. I was going to ask about X Games and who's looking good this year. But we'll save that for a private conversation at SkyPark. We'll see you guys there July 15th. Don't forget to look up Urethane and those 2 concerts that Kev's putting on. And we'll see you guys all then. Have a great night, everybody.
1 o'clock at the terrace. 1 o'clock at the terrace. Be there.
All right. See you Saturday, guys.